Let's start with the situation. Even though Bert wanted to go to this party, he has a headache and that's making the situation much more intolerable. There are two strategies that help to regulate at the situation level. First is deciding whether this is a situation he wants to or needs to be in, as he thinks to himself to do or not to do. Here it could be to stay or leave the party. Say he chooses to stay but is still aggravated. That's where he can choose to modify the situation. To change it up, Bert can take measures to manage his physical well-being. Maybe he can drink more water or take medicine for his headache. If possible, he may also want to spend time in quieter parts of the house. The next strategy changes his attention. Bert is really focused on the irritating things at this party. This is pretty normal because when we're feeling emotions, it's easier to notice what fits with the primary emotion we're feeling. Bert has the option to shift his attention to change the emotion. He came to this party because he likes these people, so he can shift the focus to the people he likes. Bert can also scan the room for objects or colors that are pleasant instead of the unpleasant things that he's focusing on. To change your emotions, you can also change your mind. Our brains automatically evaluate situations and make judgments about them, and these can be helpful or harmful depending on how they make you feel. Here, Bert's interpretation is making him more annoyed, so he may want to think again. Bert can remind himself to accept the people around him as they make their own choices. He can also decide to think differently about the situation by showing compassion for himself and those around him, reminding himself that it's okay for him to feel mad, and that while he cannot control the behaviors of those around him, he can control how he manages his feelings. Sometimes it's easier to catch an emotion once it's already happening. At this stage, coping with the emotion is a helpful way to regulate. Bert is feeling angry, so he has to figure out how to cope with this emotion. Normally, Bert likes to listen to loud music and go for a long run when he's mad, but that is not an option at this party. He has to come up with a different strategy to express or regulate this emotion. Since he's at the party, he doesn't want to bring this emotion into the communal space, so he needs to self-regulate. He can temporarily remove himself from the situation by stepping outside or going to the bathroom to take a few deep breaths. He'll rejoin his friends once he's feeling calm again or make a decision to go home. Remember, Bert doesn't have to use all of these strategies. He can choose whichever strategy he remembers or is the easiest to do. Sometimes our values might convince us to stay in a stressful situation, so we want to cope with this emotional response, and other times our values will guide us to leave the situation.